It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I almost said intro host, but we are both intro hosts, Madelyn.
I'm your other host, Emma.
And I do this about every couple months, where I try to call myself the intro host, despite the fact that that is not a format of SideQuest we have done in over a year minimum.
It's fine. It's technically correct still.
But misleading.
Sure, yeah, it's misleading, but it's technically correct.
That's fair. So... I'm residing in a moral gray area. I hope our morality system allows for that.
Anyway, this is our side quest, so we're doing the normal side quest thing.
Is the side quest format getting stale? I like this one, but we've been doing it for a long time.
I know, I like this one too. I don't know if I would want to change it up a ton if we were to change it up. Because I like being able to talk about, like, a variety of things, I guess. Like, in our old side quest formats, we were always just, like talking about, like, one thing or, like, a lot of things for a very short amount of time.
You're right.
This feels like a good balance. But I don't know. We could talk about it.
It's spring, you know? I'm just thinking of, like, what can I spring clean at Talk This Podcast? But thanks for tuning in. Here on the side quest, until I manage to spring clean it into something bright and shiny new, we've got the bright and shiny old, where we talk about our save data, aka what we've been playing the past few weeks, the weather report, the traffic report, our off-topic corner, and our question of the fortnight. Not in that order, but almost in that order.
Yep.
So without any further ado, hey Emma, what's your save data? What have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing more, going through Nier Automata. Just for fun now, I'm not recording anything because the play this came out yesterday. We'll touch on that in the traffic report.
Woo!
But just replaying that and really enjoying replaying that. I've been trying to play on hard, but it's very hard. It's not, actually that's misleading because I'm not playing on the very hard difficulty setting that is called very hard. I'm just playing on hard. But I think the hard is very hard, and the very hard is extremely hard. So, there you go.
That was a little difficult to track, but I think I followed you.
It just feels like, and I don't think there is, I think I just kind of am bad, but it feels like there's a big difficulty spike between normal and hard. But I think I'm just not great at the game. So, there's that.
That's valid.
I also bought Baba Is You on the Switch, which is like a logic game, like a puzzle logic game, in which there's like words on the screen in which that like identify things, like Baba, which is a sheep, is you, so you control Baba, and flag is win, so if you go to the flag, you win. But you can also move these words around and make them into different things. So like Baba, like Baba is you, and then you can also make like rock is you, and then you're rock and Baba. Or you can make different things into win in order to make it easier for you to win things. So it's basically like a pushing game, like you just push things around to solve the puzzle, but it has the added element of like word play and figuring out what you can define things as to make the puzzle work for you. It's been pretty good so far. I think I've only looked up one solution, and I've played like 15 levels, so like it doesn't get frustrating. Like, and when it does, I was just like, either there's other levels I can go to, so you're not like locked into a single level all the time, or you can like put it down and come back to it later. And like whenever I've done that, usually I've been able to solve the puzzle within the next like 5 minutes of looking at it.
It's funny how that happens, isn't it?
Yeah, I think your brain just like gets tired, and then when you go back, you've just got a fresh perspective on it, and you're no longer as brain tired.
I often see this with my students.
Yeah.
It's like we'll be going over their practice tests, and they're like, oh, I know how to do this. And I'm like, that's cool. Couldn't you have done that on the test?
Yeah. With tests and homework, it's a little different, too, because, like, it's just, like, there's the pressure of tests.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Yeah, those are the two major things I've been playing.
Well, I have finally, in the past 2 weeks, finally had some actual time to play video games. Not that much, but some. And so what that's meant is that we've finally picked The World Ends With You Final Remix back up.
Yeah! Woo!
I think that we must be close to the end, unless there's going to be a secret fourth go-round.
I don't know.
Well, you're not going to tell me. I would believe it. I would believe that they'd be like, now it's 4-player co-op, and all of you are partners.
I don't even know how you would do that on the DS.
You couldn't. But it's not 2-player co-op on the DS. Oh, but I get it. I understand.
Yeah. But hot tip, though. Before the end, you should probably try to remember what the single-player input is for each of your party members.
I didn't play on single player with them at all, so
yes, that's why I'm telling you hot tip, because I think it's probably relevant.
This seems likely to be something that is very frustrating to me.
It won't be. I don't think it'll be really frustrating. I think you miss out on something cool if you don't know them.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Great. Good.
Okay.
I look forward to the mechanics ruining my experience. I can barely do the mechanics for my own pins. I can barely remember how to activate my own pins.
Well, that's your own fault. Look in the menu.
I know, but then it's like, I'll have 2 that are similar, and it's like you can't activate.
You can turn them on sub, so you can have like 2 pages of pins that you can cycle between. So if you have 2 pins that have the same input, you can have one active for the other active.
I know, but I don't like.
Just another hot tip.
I know. All I like to do is upgrade them and see if they evolve.
Or you can do me, and you can kick Josh out, and you can play both with yourself.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like something I would be good at all.
It's real hard with Beat. I'll say that much.
Given that I am really struggling to move and attack, it's hard enough. I really blame our tiny television.
That might be it, yeah.
Just that I'm constantly, I'm just having a hard time keeping it pointed correctly at the screen. I don't really know. I don't know if it's probably not that, but it feels like it's that. So, anyway, that's been fun. It's been nice to sort of get back into that game and hopefully finally finish it. Not that, you know what? It took me a full year to finish Persona. It'll probably take me a full, a little over 6 months to finish this one. Granted, not nearly as long of a game, but still.
Yeah, it's you're a little below pace. If it took you a year to finish Persona, it should have taken you 3 months to finish The World Ends With You-ish.
It's not really about... But see, I was playing Persona simultaneously, so it sort of took precedence.
I guess so.
So that, and I finished I played all of Kingdom Hearts 3 in the meantime. So yeah, I get that, but also, well, whatever. But I sort of have to decide what my strategy is after finishing this game, because I'm hopeful we'll finish this in the next, well, I don't know, I guess we're going to be out of town. But I hope we'll finish this one in the next 2 weeks before the next side quest. That's sort of the goal. And then I have to decide what my strategy is from there and what I want to play next.
Well, may I suggest Nier Automata?
You're right. That's a good suggestion. Clickbait Boyfriend is asking if you'll give us God of War.
If I'll give you God of War, I haven't finished playing
That's
God
what
of
I
War.
told him.
I'll consider giving it to you after I finish it, which I'll probably do in the weeks before Japan. I just haven't had enough time. I haven't had enough time to sit and commit myself to playing God of War. Baba Is You, I can play in 30-minute chunks.
Yeah.
And Nier Automata I've played before, so I can sort of pick it up, put it down whenever. But I feel with God of War, I want to at least sit for an hour with it.
Yeah.
And I just haven't had time to do that since I started playing.
Yes, and God of War is excellent prep for your vacation to Japan.
Oh yeah.
Very thematic.
There's so much Japanese in God of War.
I did have to, fun real-life video game connection, I was teaching one of my students today about Amaterasu.
Oh yeah.
From Okami. Not from Okami, but sort of from Okami.
In Okami.
Yes. I was not literally teaching them about the video game Okami. So that would have been cool.
You could give that as homework.
I could. She is also going to Japan, so I think she'll learn about Japan that way. Instead of through my video game suggestions. But yeah, that's mostly been what I've been playing. I'm hoping to sort of have a more variety of video game output coming soon. But just having time to play The World Ends With You more than once in the 2-week period was a major step forward for me in my video game output lately. So building it back up, as of course the weather gets nicer and nicer, what would you rather do than sit inside and play video games?
Yeah.
Speaking of weather, it's time for the weather report.
So we're going to, because the side quests didn't coincide with it, but we're going to resurrect this 5-day long discourse that's been around Sekiro.
Nice.
There we go. Sekiro, which is the new game from Software. From Soft.
Go on.
The Dark Souls makers.
Yes.
I can't remember if there's a software, but it's definitely from Soft, which is sort of different than their Dark Souls games, and stars you as a shinobi who's trying to reclaim their master from somebody who's kidnapped them. And he's got a cool prosthetic arm that has a grappling hook in it, and it's really hard, as are all From Soft games. And there was discussion going around about whether Sekiro should have some sort of easy mode for people to play it, and that's Sekiro, I've heard, has great just basic accessibility options. So we're putting that aside. That's not the debate. Of course, every game should have basic accessibility options like subtitles and colorblind mode and button remapping. Just every game should have that. What specifically this is talking about is a version of the game that is easier. So whether or not that should be something that most developers think about when they make their games.
Well, I really feel like that guy on Twitter really summed it up.
The copy pasta that's going around?
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw you share something from it first, and I was like, what is this?
It's hilarious.
I get that it's a joke.
I shared the coffee one.
Yeah, I understand that this is a joke, but what is it?
Yeah.
But it took me another couple days to think to actually go and
oh God, what is it? You cheated not only
I have it. I'll read
yourself.
it out. Wait a minute. Where did I put this? Oh yeah, here we go. You cheated not only the game, but yourself. You didn't grow. You didn't improve. You took a shortcut and gained nothing. You experienced a hollow victory. Nothing was risked and nothing was gained. It's sad that you don't know the difference.
And in context, this was somebody quote tweeting an article from PC Game Mag or something.
I think.
In which the writer said that he used a cheat or a mod on the final boss of Sekiro, and that he was
felt fine about
unashamed and felt fine about it. So that's a little different too. But I read some I read a Waypoint piece too that was we've always made our own easy modes, and the difference with Sekiro is that there's no developer built-in easy mode, because he pointed out that even Dark Souls has a function where you can summon other players to help you when you're in a tight spot. So that in itself is kind of an easy mode. It's not how you're quote unquote supposed to play it, but it gives access to people who are just stuck on the game or aren't playing the FromSoft game for the difficulty, but for the way they build worlds and the lore and whatever. But Sekiro doesn't have any sort of option like that. And I saw a lot of stuff on Twitter too, suggesting different kinds of easy modes. Somebody made a mod where you can speed up or slow down movements. So either enemy movements can be slower or your movements can be faster, which can help with like figuring out, timing on things, like making the timing a little better. And I think, I personally do think that difficulty can be used as an expression of themes and of storytelling in a game, and that difficulty is important. But it's also subjective, right? So what I find really, really difficult, someone else might find super, super easy. And that's theoretically why we have difficulty modes on games to begin with. Because, like, say you want to use a difficulty spike for dramatic effect or whatever. Like, it's not going to work if I've already been struggling all the way through the game, right? Or it's not going to work if it's just, like, slightly hard or easy mode for people who are really good at games, right? So for that, I feel like because it's so subjective, like, is every player getting the right experience out of it if there's only one difficulty setting? And like it doesn't have to just be like, oh, you do more damage or whatever. It can have the same sort of strategy, and you can be creative with an easy mode. So I feel like it's silly to like design games like that can only be accessed by like true gamers. But also I've just generally been annoyed by people who are anti-easy mode just being like, well, it's not the game for you. It's like, well, that's, condescending,
and
but whatever.
That's also all well and good, except that, like, games are kind of expensive, and I realize they're not really as expensive as they need to be, but they're kind of expensive, and to be like, okay, this isn't the game for you, it's like, well, who is going to tell me if it's the game for me? Because everyone reviewing the game has at least a baseline competence, right? Like, yeah. I assume that when I get reviews from, like, video game reviewers, that they are people that are, like, for the most part, like, good at games, right?
See, that's funny, because a lot of the internet assumes that game journalists are babies who are using a controller for the first time. So.
But it's, like, that's so dumb. It's, like, like, they don't, like, I'm not assuming that they're, like, experts at games, or that they would be, like, master speedrunners, or that they're, like, gonna be, like, world champions.
I mean, some people think that they should be, is the thing.
Sure, and that's fine, and, we can talk about that, I guess, except that that's silly, too, because the job of the reviewer is, like, basically to tell you whether you should buy the game, right?
Yeah.
Especially in video games. But I assume that these people are better than average, and probably most of the time significantly better than average at, like, games that are standard gameplay-y, right? Which nothing about Sekiro jumps out to me as something that's like, this is really outside the norm of gameplay. Right? Except that it's hard.
Yeah.
Just in terms of, like, how the game works.
Yeah, I would say that. The controls, at least from what I've seen of it, I have not bought it for myself, even though I've been tempted to, just to see what it's like. But it's basically like, third-person action, just requiring more care and focusing on, like, parrying and dodging and going in when you need to.
Yeah. So I'm perfectly comfortable with saying, I assume that games journalists are probably better at that than I am, right? Not all of them by a large degree, not all of them for every game that they play, but probably on the whole, they're better at games than the average gamer, and, like, even more so than that, right? Because the average gamer is probably not that good at games, right? If we look at everyone who plays video games, I have to imagine there's a very large clump at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So, like, how am I supposed to listen to their experience of the game as someone who is probably in the top quartile of gaming skill? Right? That seems fair, right? If they're better than 75% of gamers, that's, like, probably accurate. Like, how am I, if it's all about difficulty level and there's the one difficulty level, how am I supposed to know if it's, like, not the game for me until I've already bought it and then I'm out at $60?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's just, like, a lot of people are bringing up comparisons to Celeste, which has, like, an assist mode that I believe, like, just, like, slows things down while you're in the air, is what I believe it does. And, like, pointing out, like, lots of people used assist mode when they played Celeste, and they got, what they wanted out of it, and it doesn't cheapen the accomplishment of someone who wants to take pride in, like, getting through it with no deaths, or just like doing it without using assist mode, or speed running it, or whatever. Like, it has all these options for people of varying levels. It has assist mode for people who just cannot, are really bad at it, and it has like, you know, like timers and death counts and stuff for people who really want to keep track of those things and feel proud of those things. And I just, it feels like often when I'm looking at like this easy mode discourse, it just gets to like, people don't feel like their accomplishment will be lessened if somebody got through the game at an easier difficulty or whatever. Yeah. Or they'll talk about like Devil May Cry 5, I think, like, when it was released, the developers were like, you're supposed to play it on this. Like, we designed it with this in mind. So, like, if you want the true, intentional experience with the difficulty, play it on this difficulty level. And I don't remember what difficulty level that was, but it was one of them. But it still has some that are below that for people who just, you know, want to feel cool with their sword.
Yeah. And I still think that's a little uncool. I mean, I still think it's a little uncool to be like, we designed it with this in mind, right?
I don't think that's
I don't think it's uncool. I just mean, I don't know. I just mean that, like, you know, they don't know who I am and how good I am at this game and what'll be the best level for me.
Well, you know, if it with a sequel, I would be like, yeah, they're saying that for Devil May Cry.
Fair enough. But that's what I'm saying.
So
like,
there is that context.
Well, there. I still think it's like a little bit uncool. I think that that's valid. You know. That's all.
You know, I don't mind developers expressing their intent because I generally either take it or leave it.
No, I know.
You know,
you're right.
Like, I'm not. I really don't like people who are like, this is the canon because the author said so or whatever. But I totally respect, you know, people who want to play it as the developers intended or whatever, and I can take or leave that as I want. But basically what I mean is it just feels like in the discussion there's just people who just they feel so much pride and ownership over finishing this game, and the fact that somebody could finish it but not have gone through the same struggles or whatever, like, makes them feel delegitimized.
It's so silly. Reason. They won't platinum it. Like, it's different. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, my thing is, like, you know, if you really don't want to design in easy mode, like, I guess that's fine, but you're losing out on, like, a huge player base who would, you know, probably enjoy the story or the atmosphere you've created or whatever.
Well, are they, though? Because I was about to say, you know, this has generated a ton of free publicity for the game. Just tons. So, are they losing out on a player base, or have they gained enough buzz from all of the controversy around it that people are picking up the game to see if they can do it? You know what I mean? Like,
I think in a case like this, with the specific discourse, I think it's more likely that people are watching Let's Plays.
That's fair.
I don't know how much... Like, with this specific discourse of the difficulty, I feel like my reaction was to go watch some Let's Plays. The only reason I've wanted to buy it is just because, like, you know, difficulty is an interesting thing for, like, the Play This series or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So that's, you'd have to, like, you know, actually do some research on that.
Yeah.
I know no press is bad press, but, like, in this case it might be, you know, driving the revenue of people streaming the game as opposed to actually the game itself.
Fair enough. Well, speaking of mechanics, it's time to get all cozy in our off-topic comfy corner. Which is really only a little off-topic this week. So, as you might have heard us talk about on the podcast over the past few months, we're going to be presenting at the Popular Culture Association and American Cultural Association annual conference in D.C. next weekend. Our presentation is actually on the 18th?
Yeah. Yes. Ish, I think.
Where we'll be talking about, is sort of an extension of Emma's Play This series, right?
Yes.
About mechanics and how you can map them onto a scale of the power and control that they give, to see how they coincide with story beats and how they change across the games. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah.
And so we're really excited about that. I was just thinking today of whether it would be interesting for us to, as one of our podcasts for when we're in Japan, to make like a mini-sode that is just us like sort of recording our presentation.
Sure. That might be fun.
Yeah. So if it's something that you'd be interested in hearing more about, hey, drop us a line. But it's been fun to really be putting that together in earnest these past couple of weeks.
Well, sort of.
What do you mean?
We've been a little behind, probably, on where we should be, but that's par for course.
Yes. That doesn't mean it hasn't been fun to be putting it together.
Yes.
And now we just have to find a bunch of images, mostly.
Yeah. You're right.
I mean, right?
Yeah. Well, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
We need to find...
Everything always turns out fine.
We need to find a way to work Kingdom Hearts into it. It feels kind of blasphemous that there's no Kingdom Hearts.
I don't know how we would work Kingdom Hearts into it. I mean, we could use any, I guess, example of its mechanics, but I don't know how we would,
I know. Maybe I'll put it into my action-adventure collage.
Sure, you can do that.
Right? Of like...
Yeah, that works.
Here are all these games that are designed in this... So we've decided... So, crash course on the thing. We've decided that you can map all mechanics on the scale of power, aka how much impact they have on the game world and the story, and control, how much like you as the player can do with the mechanic, like how many options you have sort of within the mechanic. And so we've decided that sort of the low power, high control mechanic world is sort of like the easiest way to design a game in the modern world.
Yeah.
For the most part. And that you see it a lot in sort of action-adventure and first-person shooter and those types of games, in that, like, you'll have, like, a kind of complicated inventory system, or a bunch of different combat styles, or various sort of RPG leveling type things that you can do, all of which, like, you have a lot of control in that, like, you'll have a lot of different weapons, or different items, or different ways to play the game, but none of that really has too much of an impact on the story. So, I think I'm going to make a nice little collage of games that work like that. But I've already worked Persona in.
Cool.
Got a nice photo of the Valentine's,
With Champ McDude?
Not of I mean, it's always Champ McDude, but it's not literally Champ McDude.
Darn it. I was hoping it was from your playthrough and that we could really, like, debut Champ McDude to the world.
I wish.
But too bad.
I truly wish. I probably did take a photo of it, but it wouldn't be as good as this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did get Champ McDude in there. I'm trying to think if we have any other classics that we really need to fit in. If I had had more time, I could have done it. I would have done it as like cartoons, but we don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, are there any like other Talk This classic games? Telltale series will be in there. The real throwback to the olden days.
Yep.
Can we work in Octopath Traveler?
I don't know where.
I'm just trying to think of like what are our classic games on the show.
We would have to pick a mechanic from it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know where the path actions would go. I don't actually know.
How do you feel about the... it's Tales from Vesperia you've been playing, right?
Yeah. It's pretty standard.
How does the dress-up... I've been thinking about this. How does the dress-up system work?
Dress-up.
Because, like, they do wear them in scenes. So I was wondering...
I think it would probably be, like, mid-power, because you get some skits, but in the story, nobody comments on them.
Right.
Right? But it does, like, theoretically change what they look like.
Yeah.
Right? Which is impacting the game world to some extent, and you do get the extra skits sometimes based on what clothes you're wearing, and you do get some of these outfits in-game, so that's, like, tied to the world, I guess. But I wouldn't say it was, like, high power.
Yeah.
So it'd be, like, in the middle.
That's too bad. It
like,
doesn't really fit into any of our categories for the presentation.
Be like in the middle and high control.
I hope somebody asks us about that. That's what I want. Anyway, we're very excited about this. Shoot us, drop us a line. Don't shoot us. Drop us a line if you want to learn more about it. But yeah, maybe we can definitely get something on the blog, at least, about it.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be cool. Oh, speaking of the blog, beep beep, Emma, take over. Beep beep, make... It's the traffic report.
Vroom vroom.
So
yeah, it's traffic report.
So the blog on www.talkthispodcast.com/blog is finally, it's come back from the dead.
Yes.
After about a month of relative inactivity, we once again have 2 editions of Split Screen, where we've entered, we've seen the season finale of My Hero Academia Season 2 and entered Season 3, and we're wherever the heck we are. It's one episode.
Getting closer.
Right? Of Boys Over Flowers. Things are getting crazy.
We still have to figure out what we're going to replace Boys Over Flowers with.
Yeah, we are reaching the point relatively soon, like 2 months away, right? Something like that, where we're going to have to replace Boys Over Flowers. So, if you have...
we know it's sad.
If you have thoughts that aren't Meteor Garden, do let us know. Because I feel like we've got a lot of options.
Yeah.
And also, finally, the triumphant return of Clickbait Boyfriend. Featuring his first thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 3. Also featuring a lot of cartoons from me, also a Marie Kondo meme.
I saw the Marie Kondo meme.
Did you think it was funny?
I thought it was hilarious.
Really?
I thought it was very funny.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was good too. I guess it is technically a very minor spoiler, which didn't really occur to me, but that's okay. If you haven't gotten that far in the game at this point, surely you don't care. I realize that's an elitist position, but you know what? That's too bad. Anyway, there's a lot of great cartoons. You really should go see it. It's Keistagram themed. Chibi Ericus is really something to be seen. And I did a lot of work drawing Highwind, so for that alone, you should really go take a look. And it features one drawing from Emma as well.
Yes. I helped out a lot.
It's a featured image. It's really great. I really like it. I think it's a great wallpaper. Subtle heart imagery. Really excellent. Anyway, that's up on the blog. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to get this stuff coming up in sort of relatively regular schedule moving forward. Again, thank goodness, at least until our Japan vacation in a month. Woo!
Yes.
Also, Emma, talk to the people about YouTube.
Yes, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, which is Talk This Sisters. And yesterday, Play This number 9 came out, which is on Nier Automata and Diegetic UI. So go watch that. There's not spoilers in it. Like, there's very, 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 very minor spoilers for, like, parts of the first playthrough and, like, the nature of the 3 playthroughs. And I'm I'm very proud of my little ending stinger, even though it's the worst thing I've ever made. But, that's fine. Yeah, you can go enjoy that.
Yeah, thanks for answering that. I was going to ask you, I was like, can I watch it?
Yeah, I would say you can watch it. It only features, how far I'd played, which is, 3 hours in.
Great.
So you're probably fine watching
Well,
it.
I'm sure it's excellent. Playlist is always excellent. I'm excited. In addition...
We should have a Kingdom Hearts 3 blog coming out in the next few days.
Yes, that's true. Lots of blogs in the works. I'm still kicking around the idea of doing my 120 thoughts in 120 hours on Persona 5. We'll see. I'll have to sort of do that one over time. Anyway, other social media channels you can find our thoughts and musing at are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're at Talk This Podcast on all three of those channels, so check those out to see when our latest blogs goes up, and always various other fun content. I might be reposting some of my cartoons this week because I worked hard on them, and I think people deserve to see them.
Heck yeah.
I worked hard to make them look like I didn't work that hard on them.
Yeah.
So, there you go. I already mentioned our website, talkthispodcast.com. There you can find our blog, like we mentioned, but also more info about the show, everywhere you can listen to us, all that good stuff. Speaking of where you can listen to us, hey, if you like the show, why don't you subscribe? We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, and finally, drumroll please, Pandora!
Yeah.
Literally last week I had given up including it, because I was like, oh, who knows when it's actually going to be on there.
Yeah.
And then we discovered that it is. So find us on your internet radio of choice, aka Pandora Podcasts.
Only on the app.
Only on the app. That's true.
So if you listen to Pandora on your computer, we are not there. Nor are any other podcasts.
Yeah, not just us. Just excluded us. And while you're there, why don't you leave us a rating and a review? We love that stuff. We're really appreciative. Or drop us a line on our website. We've gotten some great fan feedback on our website lately. So we like to hear from you all. So drop us a line. And so now, without any further ado, it's time for our question of the fortnight. I've said without any further ado like 5 times. There's no ado this episode.
No ado allowed.
No more. None further. So in honor of both the impending arrival of Avengers Endgame and
oh gosh.
of the release of the new Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker
Oh god.
trailer this week, our question of the fortnight is, what other movie franchise would we like to see reimagined as a local co-op Lego game?
It's kind of hard. I feel like everything is either Star Wars or Marvel these days.
You're right.
Well, sticking on the Disney trend, I think it could be fun to have, like, a Disney Princess extended universe in Lego form. What do you think?
You mean Kingdom Hearts 4?
Yeah, I did. Nomura, I know you're listening. Please stop. Go away, you've work to do.
Making Kingdom Hearts 4 Lego universe.
Oh no. But no, yeah, like Lego Disney princesses, like having an adventure. I don't know.
That could be fun, and you could sort of pick the different princesses to play as.
Yeah.
I'll open it up to TV shows too if you want, like a TV show.
Oh, open up to TV shows too? I don't know if that really opens it up a whole lot.
That is fair.
You could get a My Hero Academia Lego game. That would be fun.
That could be kind of fun.
I don't really know how you would do it, but it would be fun. I
feel like I'm at a strong disadvantage here because I haven't seen like any movies lately. But again, similar vein, like a Pixar extended universe Lego series could be fun, although maybe a little too meta for Toy Story.
Yeah, it might be.
So we just won't include Toy Story in the first batch. We'll be like, we'll come back to that.
Some self-aware Toy Story DLC.
Seriously. Exactly.
But how about what's not owned by Disney anymore? Nothing. So
you could do like a Tarantino extended universe. That would be a really weird Lego game.
That would be a weird Lego game.
It's like red bricks spewing forth.
Talk about for a very specific audience, right?
I feel like it could work. Those are all like stylized enough. Like I feel like it could work.
How would you do all the blood?
Red Legos spewing everywhere.
Like little red Lego ones? I don't know if I've ever seen blood in like a Lego game. I don't know what it would look like.
That's exactly why I think the world needs this game. What does blood look like in the Lego universe? I also think there's probably a lucrative market for Lego Game of Thrones. In honor of that
Lego
season
Game
kicking
of
off
Thrones.
tonight.
Oh yeah. Is it kicking off tonight?
It is kicking off tonight, Sunday night.
Interesting. Wow. I don't watch Game of Thrones, but good on you to everybody who watches it. I hope it's satisfying. What? I do.
I don't think it just came across as really shady. Just the slight,
I didn't
little
mean it in a
hesitation
shady
of
way.
like, I hope it's really satisfying.
Well, I was gonna say like fun, and then I was like, is Game of Thrones fun? Like, do people watch it because it's fun? I guess maybe. And then I changed it to satisfying because I thought that would be more accurate.
I feel like I just thought of another maybe good one, and I forgot what it was already. So I was thinking about this Game of Thrones. Another one, though, where you would need to figure out how to do Lego Blood.
Yeah.
That's okay, though. I think the world is ready for that.
I just want to state it there that I like the silent Lego games more than the newer ones where they like have voices.
Yeah.
I really miss like the Lego Harry Potter like miming games where it just like they added the extra level of fun because they were stupid.
I could get behind a remake of the last Airbender movie that is in Lego form.
A remake of the movie? Why not just Avatar the World?
No, I mean, I want them to make a Lego movie. I think that would be better than the movie that they did make.
A Lego movie. You know, I saw news that they didn't make a season 4 of Avatar because they focused on the movie.
I saw that too.
Wow. Great choice, guys.
Yeah, but I think The Last Airbender, a Lego game, would be fun and the correct target demographic if several years too late.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of options. Lego. Or whoever, like, who licenses, like, where do the Lego games come from? Who makes those?
Disney?
I guess. They don't...
I don't think Lego is owned by Disney, but I could be wrong. I mean, they own everything, so.
But they don't own Harry Potter, do they? No, they don't. That's Universal.
Is Universal not,
They have their own
now
studios.
Disney?
Universal Studios. Maybe it is now
Oh.
owned by Disney, but the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is not at Disney World. So.
I mean, is Universal isn't part of Fox, is it?
I don't know.
I don't know
This
either.
is a TV
so.
podcast.
It's a bad sign that we have to think about it, though.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, we've got a lot of ideas for you, whoever develops these Lego games. So give us a call, drop us a line on the website contact form. We'll be on the lookout. And in the meantime, everybody, thanks for tuning in for this week's Side Quest episode of Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
Next week, we'll be back with a full episode on a game that is old and a game that is new, which have names.
They do. They are definitely named real games. They're 100% real.
I really feel like it'll be a good sign in my life when I have few enough things going on that I am able to remember what our games are from week to week.
Castlevania?
That sounds
and
plausible.
Unravel 2. I'm not sure about Castlevania, but Unravel 2 was definitely a new game.
Well, look forward to maybe listening to us talk about those two games, or other games, in a week on Sunday at noon. Emma, do you want to wish the people well on this fine spring week?
I hope that you enjoy Game of Thrones, but that your life is not like Game of Thrones.